It's about all the sad stuff I see in the world, and I see a lot of sad stuff, and it's called sad.
I've always been too interested in crime news and stuff like that, like cold case files and that kind of thing. I love reading crime news in general. I like the local paper in the city because they always have good crime coverage. And it's funny to me when the local paper will try and make someone sound prettier after they're murdered. Like you'll walk by the newsstand and you'll see the headline like, "Beauty slain." And then you look at the photo and you're like, How about body found? My new favorite term in crime reporting is someone is a person of interest. That means that someone is like an unofficial suspect in a case, which I think is a pretty good term, but to me, person of interest almost sounds too flattering. Like if I was in my apartment and the police pounded on the door and they were like, "A man was murdered in your lobby last night, and you are a person of interest," I would be like, "Moi? Oh, do go on. Fresh."
One of the things I respect most about her, actually, is she stepped in. I have 2 kids in previous relationships. She's like a second mom. Tyler, 9,
ready to deploy.
My daughter Monroe, 7. They're good kids. Yeah, they're good, man. I'm lucky.
XS1 Goliath is
they're happy. They're healthy. They are quite smart, which is the one thing I would scale back. I'm not even entirely joking. If you have smart kids, you know they have a lot of work. They're so curious. So curious, just constant questions, all the time questions. Right? They like to talk about their family, what they can do. They have to go outside. They never have any interest in just quietly, respectfully watching an 8-hour Criminal Minds marathon on the couch with a good person. They don't care about stuff like that. Sometimes I get jealous. We're at Chuck E. Cheese. We're at the mall food court, and I see a couple dumb kids, and I think that's a sweet life right there. We cherish those easily pleased relationships. Sometimes I fantasize about having a couple little glossy-eyed little mouth breathers I could just shove in front of a SpongeBob marathon, kick over a juice box, some string cheese, and carpe diem. I could leave the house for 8 hours, not even get a babysitter. Why? I'll come back. Go right where I put them. It may smell worse, but this is happening. My son Tyler, he's actually gifted. He skipped a grade. He skipped 2nd grade because when he was 8, he was tested, and he reads at a 12th grade level. And I'm happy for him, but I'm a little sad for me. I think every good parent wants their kids to eventually accomplish things they were able to, but I'll tell you this, not when they're 8. A little early. I'll tell you what I don't like about it. I don't know for sure that I read at 12th grade level. I strongly assume I do, but I've never been tested. No one ever had any interest. And I'm definitely never getting tested now.
Mission accomplished.
I would be emotionally crippled for the rest of my life if I took the same test he took when he was 8 and got a 12, and if I took that tomorrow and got like a 6, no good, no good. I would completely panic, probably paint his room with as much lead as I could get my hands on. Make sure he eats off aluminum for the rest of his childhood. Dad, why does this fish taste like mercury? Because I gotta narrow the gap. That's why. You'll stop getting mercury fish and you stop knowing the fish tastes like mercury. You think about that, Professor. Right? You work out that equation. My daughter doesn't care about school, but I think she's probably the smartest person in the family. Monroe doesn't care about school. She doesn't care about her teacher. She doesn't need that validation. She doesn't need school. She's street smart. She's 7. I truly believe she's about now. She's probably okay. Force of personality would carry her through life. She just gets life. She doesn't have to have things explained to her. She just understands things. Right? Like when she was 6 last year, she told me she wanted to be a comic. And at first I was like, she doesn't know what she's saying. All the words she heard, but I do. There's no way a 6-year-old brain can begin to process the complexity, artistry, philosophy, and overall intellectualism that doesn't have. Right? Thank you for that. So I asked her, though, I'm like, Monroe, why do you want to be a comic? Without hesitation, she goes, I want to make fun of people and not get in trouble. Yeah, she gets it. That's pretty much it. It's really the essence of it.
When you have kids, you also have to belong to kid and parent culture. You have to know a lot of parents and a lot of other kids. You have to hang out with other kids. Sometimes they're not even kids you know. Like when I go to parks with my kids, I play with them. I play with my kids. Some people don't do that. They neglect they just take their kids to the parks so they don't have to talk to them. And those kids kind of glom on to our shit. Like I'll be sitting at the park playing a fun game with my kids, and then there's this woman over in a bench, and she's got her phone, she's staring at her phone. And her kid's like, Mommy, talk. Leave me alone, I'm trying to cheat on your father. Stop. And then the kid comes up to us, can I be in your family? It's creepy. One time I was at a swimming pool with my kids, a public pool. And I had my daughter, my 6-year-old, on my arm like this. She was like clamped on, and she's kicking. It was so much fun. And then she got off, and another random child just clamped on her. It's like a rat. Get off of me. But I love you. I don't know you, kid. Stop it. I think the kid's dead. I don't know what happened. Some kids in my kids' class, I like some of those kids. Some of those kids are cool. They come over to my house. They play with I like them. Other kids I don't like, especially little boys. Little boys in my kids' class, I hate them. I hate little boys. I'm like the opposite of a pedophile. I just hate. There's one kid in my daughter's class who I hate so much. And it's really fucked up because I'm 44 and I hate a 6-year-old. I mean, I hate him with a grown-up, preoccupying hate. I've thought about him 3 times since I came out here. That's how much I really hate this kid. I'm going to tell you about him, and I have to make up a name because he's a real child who lives in this city, so I have to make up a name in order to tell a story about him. His name is just Zan the Puss. Let's just call him Zan the Puss. Fine. Okay. He's in my daughter's class. They're in 1st grade. And when we take our kids to class, there's a little procedure. You bring your kids to school, and they have their backpack and their jacket, and they go to their cubby, and they take it all off, and they put it in the cubby. And they take their homework folder and their lunchbox and put them in the bins. Those are their little responsibilities. You help them do it so they'll mow the block. But Shazam the Puss, when he comes in, he doesn't do none of that shit. He just walks in and just sheds it all. He just... And his mom, his weak piece of shit mom, picks it all up. I hate his mother. Because you hate a weak parent when you're a parent. Because it's like you're raising Hitler, motherfucker. Do your job. Get in there. If our parent group in our class were a platoon of soldiers, she'd be the one that we'd put soap bars and socks in. We'd frag that bitch in her sleep. She would wash right the fuck out. She wouldn't make it. When Shazam the Puss drops his shit, this bitch picks it up. She doesn't, she just goes, and she puts it all away for him, which frees him up to punch other kids in the face. Because he's a shitty, horrible, violent child. One time I was at school, and I was volunteering at recess. It's something that you do, you know, if you're a good parent, about once a month or whatever it is, you go to school, and you just stand there, you watch recess, you masturbate, whatever you want to do. All right, that is now the worst thing. That's the worst thing now. Now that's the worst thing I ever said. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll find it. I mean, you could. It's a public school. Nobody would even give a shit. But I haven't thus far. Hasn't gotten that bad. Anyway, I'm watching Recess, and Recess is a trip. If you've never been to Recess, it's intense because it's like the universe. Like, you know, if you watch the ocean crash waves on the beach for a long time, you start feeling like you're understanding how everything works. That's what Recess is represented at Recess. There's kids swirling around in these big roiling crazy things. There's one kid just spazzing out, just some singularity kid, just a binary system of two kids holding hands and they're running and just clotheslining every child at a certain height. They're keeping a uniform height to the playground. So I'm watching Recess, and I see just aerial photos of him doing some shit to my family that I can bring to the UN and get authority to waterboard this little motherfucker. I want to get him on a flight to Venezuela with an envelope on his head and duct tape and all that shit. So anyway, he goes for her, grabs her arm, starts twisting it. She goes, nah! I run over, I'm just knocking kids over. I run, grab him. And I look in his little face and I go, listen to me, just stand the push. If you ever in your life touch her again. And as I'm doing this, I realize this is not cool that I'm doing this. This is totally inappropriate. It's really wrong. It's way over the top. It's too grown up. I mean, it's like he's a drug dealer in my building that I finally fucking... This ends now, motherfucker. I will cut you. I don't care. And he just starts crying pitifully, and I just walked away from him. I just got away. And then all the teachers, everybody that gathers around, what's wrong with you? And he's like, and he couldn't articulate it because he's not getting educated. Fuck him. I was there going, yeah, you could have told on me, bitch, but you're too stupid now. Which is your own fault. You future ditch-digging piece of shit. Oh, I'm gonna love watching you grow up into nothing, motherfucker. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna fuck your mom and not call her, too. I'm gonna ruin her summer. I'm gonna fuck your mom twice and then never call her. And I don't know your dad because he ran out on you, but I'm gonna find him, I'm gonna turn myself gay, and then I'm gonna fuck him, too. I'm gonna suck his dick so good that he just has to change his whole life. And I'm gonna move into a place with him in the village for a couple of months, and totally, he'll cut off ties to all his life and start wearing cutoffs that are really tight, and he'll just, and then I'll go to some Christian, turn you not gay place, and I'll come back and go, what's wrong with you, faggot, and make him feel bad inside. Like, what has he done?
Nice work. Well done.
Well, you gotta protect your kids. You gotta look after them. You gotta protect your kids. You gotta do it, man. A lot of people talk the talk, but, you know. A lot of people say that shit. I would throw myself under a bus for my... Oh, yeah? Would you fuck another kid's dad and confuse him sexually and yourself sexually in the process? And use homophobia that you hate against another person just because some kid shoved your kid for a second? That's my baby girl. I gotta do it, son. I gotta suck that dick. That's my baby girl. I gotta do it for her. All right. I hate that child. That's what I'm trying to say.
So this next song's about love. I love you like kings love queens, like a Gage and Edison loves designer jeans. I
I need you like New Orleans needs a drought, like Hitler's father needed to learn to pull out. And I want you, yeah, like a lawyer slash mathematician wants some kind of proof. And I want you, yeah, like JFK wanted a car with a roof. Because love is taking that dive and getting really comfortable and peeing in the pool. And love is a real life porn, minus all the stuff that makes porn.
I do love steak, but it is rather barbaric, right? I mean, we're eating a part of a cow, and I love animals, and I love animal lovers. My favorite are the people that carry around the dog in a bag. Whenever I see that, I always think, what an adorable way to let us know you're crazy. Because they're crazy. They're carrying around an animal that can walk in a bag. They're not going to the vet, they're shopping. That's okay, but if I carry around a canned ham, I'm a weirdo. It'd be one thing if the dog looked happy, but the dog always has a look on his face like, can you believe I'm sitting in a purse? I was part of Mexican royalty. But I get it, I love dogs, and I think it's cute when people dress their dogs up. But how do you have your dog in a jacket and walk by a homeless person? Sorry, I'd help, but I spent all my money on a coat for my animal that's born with a coat. I love cats. Some people don't like cats. Our neighbor has a cat, and she lives in a studio apartment, or as I refer to it, a litter box. One time she asked me, she was like, can you even tell I have a cat? And I was like, no, but I can tell you have a box of turds in your apartment. I'm not sure if that's the same question. We all have the friend with the cat, right? In the small place, you visit them, the cat does their business. You don't really acknowledge it. You just go on with the conversation. What do you want on your pizza? Bleach. Febreze, can we open a window or knock down a wall? Are my eyes bleeding? How about we throw a diaper on the kitty?